So what I was saying is that religion is a form of control. Now then you'll sit there and say, well, how can religion be a form of control? Religion tells you how to serve your respective God. It puts limits and boundaries on how to control your soul or your progress to make it to the divine. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
So, in order for you to make it to heaven, you need to do A, B, C, and D in order for you to be right. Now, little Joey or little Christina, if you fall outside of those brackets, you're not gonna make it to heaven. You're gonna go to hell because you did not follow exactly within those lines. So what happens is, for example, when I was a child and I would go to Sunday school, I can remember them talking about the concept of hell. As a little, to me, that's child abuse. To me, if you really sit back and look at it, it's child abuse to sit there and tell a little kid that if you don't do right, you're going to burn in hell for eternity. In a way, that's child abuse. And you can't tell me it's not child abuse. Because what it does is it rules by fear. Rules by fear. If I scare you enough, I will make you do what I want you to do. Religion, and it's a sad thing to say it, but religion controls by way of fear. That's one of its main tenets, to get you to follow its to be in conformity of the church, is to follow their rules and regulations. And if you don't, your family, yourself, you guys are going to be seen as outsiders. So now you're going to be shunned. You're going to be shunned by that church and that organization. Okay? Not only that, your spiritual growth is then in question, because now I've scared your soul. Now tell me, why would any God of any religion, why would any God control that way? Okay, you see things like, I am a jealous God. I am a vengeful God. Don't you see it in the Bible?
Mm-hmm.
Those are attributes, those are emotions that we as human beings feel. Why would a God have that emotion? Why would that God sit back and be like, all right, just like a little spoiled kid. You don't love me. You're not doing what I want you to do. So I'm going to pout. And then after I'm done pouting, now I'm going to punish you. That's not a benevolent God. A God isn't going to rule that way. So I think that these so-called religions, I think they're all ruled by demigods, or archons is what I call them. And, I talked to you about this before. I think that these archons, I think that it started out, it started out a long time ago. I believe, this is always up to debate. It has a little bit of Gnosticism, mixed in with some of my own flavor. It's bits and pieces of information that I have discovered, for many years of just reading, and I think at the beginning you have the light is what I would describe God as, just all knowing, benevolent light, pure light that for us to even imagine it, looking at the brightest light that we can see is the sun. And I would say that it would probably be 1,000,000 times more penetrable than the sun, and more brilliant and more beautiful than what the sun brings to here, our planet and to all the solar system. And this light then decided that it wanted to express itself. It maybe was a little bit bored. Maybe God was bored. And so he decided to express him or herself. And I look and I kind of, it's funny, I kind of picture the sun again and the multitude of rays that emanate from the sun. And I look at each one of those rays as being parts of like what we are. So you have God, the light, that then started to express itself from being something that's, light, something non-material, to something that ended up being planets, solar systems, galaxies, and to eventually being, the earth that we have here, the planets that we have, people, angels, whatever you want to call them. So I would say that during the beginning time, way before us, there had to be other type of beings. And, I'm not sure of the father and the mother and the, the son routine, but I would say that somehow he created or was created a son. Someone first. Now, the Bible will classify that as Lucifer, right? Lucifer was the very first and the beautiful person or beautiful angel created, right? He was the first. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now I'm not going to dispute whether this being's name is Lucifer or not, but this first that was created, somehow I look at it as an unruly son. I look at him going through his development, looking at God, saying, man, God is the man. You know how sons, they look up to their fathers. He could do no wrong. He could be sitting there doing wrong, but you know what I'm saying? He's looking up to his father and emanating his life and just loving his life. And then once he gets to a certain stage of development, then he decides that I'm going to try to do I'm going to try to do what my dad does. But in that instance, he starts to be a little bit rebellious. And so he does things on his own, which, teenagers do all the time. And he started developing an idea. And I think one of his ideas is that I seen how my father creates life. And you know what? I'm going to create life as well. I'm going to do it. I'm going to prove my worthiness and show him that I can create life as well. And he may have had a discussion with God, and God told him, this is something that's beyond you. I set things in motion. There's a harmony involved with how things are going right now. If you change this, son, then it will disrupt this harmony that I've created. And so I think that this angel, let's call him that, I think that he sat back and thought about it and decided that he was still going to go ahead and go with his plan. And that plan was to create. So when he started to, of course, when you have ideas and you start to discussing it with other people, just like I'm discussing stuff with you right now, I have my viewpoints, and when I have something I feel like I want to share that's special, I share it to people, because it's special to me. So quite naturally, this angel, we'll call him Lucifer, he sat back and he started discussing it with other people of his kind, other angels, be them of, a different type, who knows? I don't know all that. But after he started discussing it, he actually persuaded quite a few of them. And, it talks in some of the Bible scriptures that he persuaded 1/3 of the angels that were up in heaven. So let's say, let's break it down, to a smaller scale. Let's say you've got 100 angels. That little sucker persuaded 33 of them suckers, 33 of them out of 100, to go with him to create another world. They may have thought that Junior maybe had a good idea. Who knows all the back thinking of what was going on. But 1/3 of them went. 1/3 of them went with Junior. Junior then now entered into, out of glory, out of heaven, out of the, some say there's 9 to 12 different layers of heaven, different veils of heaven, of existence. But he came out of all that and started to focus on Earth, the planet we're on right now. And so when he was here, okay, some will say that he was kicked out, or he may have voluntarily wanted to do it. That's up to debate. But while he's here, guess what? He sets himself up as God. He sets himself up like his dad. He sets himself up to be admired. And of course, when a little brat child breaks away from his father, he wants to prove at all costs that he did a good job. So he's sitting back. Look what I just did. I've got humans. I'm genetically trying to make a bigger breed and make faster, stronger, mix humans with animals and mix them with different types of things, and making chimeras, which is a half breed. And what we end up finding out now are called Nephilim. Yeah, National Geographic Society, they can sit there and claim that there is nothing there to be found. No big skeletons to be found. No giant skeletons to be found. But they're there. The thing I look at it is, on a side note, is if you have an organization that says that they're about archaeology, and they're a main institution, and they have backing by the Rockefellers, or they have backing by the Rothschilds or the Bilderbergers, or main money people, and they say that they're for archaeology, that's their focus, is discovery of archaeological evidence. If you have an organization like that, guess what? 9 times out of 10, I believe that they do just the opposite. So what they do is take all of the discoveries that are out there, and they hide them, or they divvy out a little bit of information when they want to divvy out the information, because they want to control. They want to be the ones to divvy out the information and control the population. And they want you to do what they want you to do. It's a pretty sad thing. Overall, it's a pretty sad thing. But this I call him Archon. He came here, he established, he wants to be admired. But here's the situation. We sit back, it makes sense, because now you have this child like God, even though he's not a God, and then he gets mad when we don't do exactly what he wants us to do. And so he throws temper tantrums. You see? And, I believe that what's going on right now is the cause and effect of thousands of millennia years of his rule on this planet. So then we have to sit there and try to figure out, then, how is it that we get out of this cycle? Because if this scenario is going on, we're in a prison. The earth is a prison for us. It's a prison for our soul. Our soul came from God. But Satan or his son or his offspring hijacked us and now put us in an environment that's not of God. It's like the only way I can look at it is like this is a prison planet. So then you had the story of Christ coming back to earth for the sins of humanity. You know, we all know the story of what happened with Christ, and there's other stories that went down, and he came back and to save mankind. Well, I mean, you have to look at it as in a realist view. How do we break the cycle that we're seeing, that we're put into forcibly by this Archon? How do we get out of it? And the only way to get out of it is to not pray, not give our energy towards that false God, but to pray to the real God, the true light. That's the way, that's the only way that I can see is the way to go about it, is to break the cycle and to break the chain. Because, you know, if what I am thinking is true, millions and millions, billions of people have said the prayer, like I've told you before. Now I lay me down to sleep. I lay my soul. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray to the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Okay, so now if we are in fact saying that nursery rhyme type prayer, and we're praying it to the wrong God, we are in fact giving our soul to take. We're giving it away to the false God, and we don't even know it.